A soldier returned home in the middle of the night after a long deployment, only to be jolted by the sudden, blood-curdling scream of his son coming from inside the house. When he rushed into the room and saw what lay before him, he froze, paralyzed for a moment that felt endless. A fine mist hung over the suburban homes. Faint yellow light glowed through rain-fogged windows, making Aaron Keller squint as he slowed the car and turned onto the narrow gravel driveway leading to the house he hadn't seen in 6 months. 6 months since he'd held Noah. 6 months in special operations on a mission so silent, even mail had been forbidden. No calls, no pictures, just one objective. Finish the assignment. Come home. His rain-soaked backpack slapped against his back, with his left hand gripping the strap and his right hand reaching under the porch light. He pulled out the spare key, still taped to the wood. The door opened without a sound. The air inside hit him like a warning. Vanilla and sandalwood, scents he never used. The carpet was new, the furniture rearranged. The walls, once warm beige, were now a sterile, moody gray. Soft white LED lights hummed from above. On the dining table, a candle burned, half melted, fresh. Aaron's chest tightened. He dropped his duffel by the door, his eyes scanning. No toys, no small sneakers, no plastic orange dinosaur Noah carried everywhere. Everything was too clean, too quiet. Then a voice floated from the kitchen. "Didn't think you'd be back tonight." Elena, his wife of 2 years, stepped into view, draped in a silk robe, wine glass in hand, phone in the other. Her hair was neatly tied, nails painted a deliberate crimson. Aaron didn't meet her eyes. "Where's Noah?" His voice was steady but sharp. "Asleep," Elena replied. "Had a long day, played a lot, got tired." She smiled softly, sweetly, but something about it rang false. Aaron didn't respond. His feet carried him slowly to the stairs, each creaking step etched into his muscle memory. When he reached Noah's door, he stopped cold. It was closed. Noah never slept with the door closed. Aaron reached for the doorknob, locked. Then suddenly, from the other side, a sound, a muffled bump, then a scream. "Daddy!" Aaron didn't hesitate. He stepped back, planted his boot, and kicked the door open. The door slammed against the wall. Light from the hallway spilled into the room. Noah was huddled in the corner, sobbing, arms wrapped around a ragged teddy bear. His face was streaked with tears, and a fresh red handprint burned across his cheek. His shirt was inside out, knees scraped. In the other corner stood Kyle, Elena's son from a previous relationship, remote control in hand, bowl of popcorn at his feet. "I didn't hit him, he just slipped," Kyle blurted out, eyes wide. Aaron stood still, then moved, slowly. He knelt beside Noah. The boy didn't flinch, but he didn't lean in either. His eyes were hollow, void of the light a 6-year-old should carry. Elena appeared in the doorway. "He's fine," she said with practiced calm. "Kids cry. Kyle didn't mean anything." Aaron said nothing. He gently lifted Noah into his arms. The boy was limp, quiet, breathing shallow. As Aaron turned to carry him out, his eyes caught something on the floor beneath the bed. A torn piece of paper, scribbled in crayon. One word, scary. Aaron didn't pick it up. He didn't react. But inside him, something ancient had awakened. A storm that wasn't going to stop this time. Noah didn't say a word as Aaron carried him down the stairs. His small arms didn't wrap around his father's neck. His head rested lightly on Aaron's shoulder, like the weight of trust had long since been dropped. That silence, the kind that only came after too much fear, gnawed at Aaron more than any scream ever could. Elena trailed behind them, barefoot on the hardwood floor, arms folded tightly across her chest. "Seriously, Aaron," she said, voice steady but cold. "You're making this a bigger deal than it is. He's just sensitive." Aaron didn't answer. In the living room, he laid Noah gently onto the long gray sofa. The boy blinked slowly, his fingers clutching the ear of the teddy bear like a lifeline. Aaron knelt beside him. "Where does it hurt, buddy?" Noah blinked once, then twice. He didn't point, didn't flinch, just whispered, "I don't like Kyle." Elena scoffed behind them. "Oh, come on. He's just teasing. That's what older brothers do. Aaron turned, slow and deliberate. He's not Noah's brother. The sentence hit harder than volume ever could. Elena's expression didn't crack, but her jaw set. You know what I mean. Aaron stood, walked into the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, and stopped. No lactose-free milk, Noah's only safe option. No fruit snacks, no little owl-shaped plastic cup Noah loved. Instead, the fridge was filled with wine bottles, protein shakes, and Kyle's favorite frozen burritos. Aaron's knuckles whitened on the fridge door. He turned around. Where's his milk? Elena, leaning against the counter, shrugged. He didn't want it this week, said it made his stomach feel weird. Aaron didn't respond. He walked back to Noah, sat beside him, and lowered his voice to a near whisper. Talk to me, son. Did something happen while I was gone? Noah pressed his lips together. Then, slowly, a nod. Just one. Small, but real. Aaron swallowed hard. The kind of swallow a soldier makes when he's not sure if what he's about to do will start a war, but knows he can't ignore it. Noah looked up at him and asked softly, Are you going away again? That question, that blade. Aaron leaned in close, one hand resting gently. Stepmom said you'd leave if I told. Aaron closed his eyes. There it was, the first fracture in the glass. He pulled Noah close again, wrapped him tightly in his arms, and whispered into his hair, No one, not your stepmom, not anyone, gets to decide that. I'm here, I'm staying, and you're safe now, okay? Noah didn't nod, but he didn't pull away either. Outside, the street lamps flickered against the misty night. Inside, the candle on the dining table had burned down to a stump. Wax pooled onto polished wood. Upstairs, Kyle's door shut with a soft thud. Elena disappeared behind the master bedroom sliding door. Aaron sat motionless in the dim room, the boy resting against his chest. He wasn't just holding his son, he was holding evidence. Evidence of silence, of fear, of survival. And it was only the beginning. The next morning came slowly, gray light bleeding through the blinds like a quiet apology. Noah had fallen asleep curled against Aaron's chest on the sofa, his small hands still gripping his father's shirt. Aaron hadn't slept at all. He sat there until dawn, watching every flicker of movement in the hallway, listening for every door creak, every shift in the silence. When the first sound of clinking dishes echoed from the kitchen, Aaron stood. He gently lifted Noah in his arms, carried him upstairs, and laid him back in bed. The boy stirred only slightly, eyes fluttering but not opening. Aaron crouched beside him and with soldier-like precision, slid his hand under the blanket. Carefully, methodically, he checked each joint, wrists, elbows, knees, neck. Near the left wrist, a faint bruise, greenish, healing. At the nape of the neck, a thin scratch, shallow but deliberate. Aaron exhaled through his nose, his jaw clenched. Downstairs, Elena was humming softly as she sliced apples in the kitchen. Kyle sat at the table in a hoodie, slouched, cereal bowl in front of him. Susan, Elena's mother, stood by the coffee pot, pouring herself a slow, deliberate cup like it was any other morning. When Aaron stepped into the kitchen, all three paused. "Good morning," Susan said with a forced smile. "Noah still sleeping?" Kyle asked, chewing with his mouth half open. Aaron didn't look at them. He opened the fridge again. Still nothing for Noah. The same wine, the same junk. "What's that bruise on his cheek?" he asked quietly. Elena's slicing paused, only for a heartbeat, then continued. "I told you, he probably fell. He was running around yesterday." "And the one under his wrist?" Aaron's voice dropped, measured, razor sharp. Susan sipped her coffee, eyes averted. "Old bruise, maybe from school," Elena said. Then she added too casually, "or from when the housekeeper was still here, before she quit." Aaron didn't speak. He turned and walked out. By noon, he had Noah dressed and ready for preschool. The ride was quiet. The boy didn't talk, just clutched a worn-out stuffed bear, the seams fraying, the stuffy. Preschool building was a square red brick box at the end of a sleepy street. Moss clung to the edges of the walls, rainwater still pooled in the sidewalk cracks from the night before. At the entrance, Ms. Bethany, the teacher, stood with her clipboard. Her eyes widened slightly when she saw Aaron. "Good morning, Noah," she said gently, crouching to his level. Noah didn't answer, just nodded, eyes down. Aaron knelt and whispered, "Go on, buddy." I'll be right here. Noah hesitated, then walked inside. As the classroom door shut, Aaron turned to Bethany. While I was away, he began calm but unblinking. Did you notice anything off? Any change in how Noah behaved? Bethany adjusted her glasses. He's been quieter, draws a lot but won't show anyone. Doesn't smile as much, avoids other kids. Aaron's voice lowered. Startles easily, flinches? Bethany hesitated. Yes, once I saw a scrape on his wrist. Another time a red mark behind his neck. I asked Elena, she said Noah's clumsy, always tripping. Do you believe her? Bethany met his gaze, just for a second, then shook her head. I don't know. I don't have the authority to interfere. Aaron pulled out his wallet, flipped a business card, and scribbled a private number. If anything changes, call me, anytime. She took the card silently. Aaron walked back to the truck, sat behind the wheel and gripped the steering wheel tight. He wasn't sure what part of him hurt more, the soldier or the father. That afternoon, he picked Noah up early. They stopped by a park and bought 2 small cones of strawberry ice cream. The wind was cold enough to keep the cones from melting fast. Noah didn't eat his, just stared at it. Aaron glanced sideways. Not hungry, buddy? Noah shook his head. Then, almost whispering, he said, Stepmom doesn't like me. Aaron froze. Did she hurt you? Noah didn't speak. Then a nod, a slow, unsure one. But, Noah looked up. Grandma said if I told you, you'd leave and never come back. Aaron turned fully toward him, looked him straight in the eyes. Who told you that? Grandma and stepmom too. Then Noah added quietly but firmly, I'm scared that if I say the truth, I'll lose you. Aaron didn't speak. He just reached forward and pulled Noah into a hug. The boy didn't hug back, but this time, he didn't resist either. That night, Aaron didn't return to the base. He didn't pack, didn't write a report, didn't tell Elena a thing. He simply sent an encrypted email to his commanding officer, requesting emergency 7-day personal leave, immediate family concern, will provide details if required. Then he shut the laptop, stood by the bedroom window, and waited, not to sleep, but to listen. The door to the bedroom remained slightly ajar, curtains drawn, lights off, but Aaron's ears were open. Downstairs, the kitchen hummed with the usual night sounds, dishes being stacked, the faint whistle of the kettle, the clink of silverware, Elena's footsteps, then silence. Until 11:27 p.m. That's when Noah's slippers whispered across the floor, soft, light, like someone taught to walk without being heard. Aaron didn't move. He didn't breathe. He listened. Then came Elena's voice, not yelling, not even angry, just cruel. Dirtying the floor again? She said flatly. How far are you planning to push me? Noah's reply was silence. Then, Elena again, this time sharp and bitter. You're lucky you still get to eat. Lucky you even live here. A pause. Your mom dying was the best thing that ever happened to this house. Aaron's eyes flared. His lungs froze. But he didn't charge down. He stepped quietly to the door, barely pushed it open, just enough. Then Noah's voice, so soft it could barely pass through a crack in the world. I'm sorry. I already cleaned it. Elena snarled. Cleaned? You call this cleaning when there's still a puddle? Another pause. Go get a rag. On your knees. Wipe it up. Now. No running footsteps. No protests. Disappearance. Just the soft rustle of a cabinet door, the sound of a towel being pulled. Then, another voice joined. Kyle. From the hallway. Mocking. Loud. Hey, the monster under the bed's hungry again, he chuckled. If you disobey, it's gonna drag you down and bite your legs off. Noah whimpered. Please, don't. What? I'm just kidding, Kyle said with a snort. You're seriously still scared? What a baby. That was it. Aaron stood, walked out of the room. His footsteps were silent on the hardwood, down the stairs, across the living room. He stopped outside Noah's bedroom door. Inside, he heard it, the thud of something plastic or hard hitting the floor. Then Aaron's voice, sharp, cold, unmistakable. Dad's home. Silence dropped like a guillotine. Kyle stammered from inside. Oh, I was just, watching him for Elena. He spilled water. I was just teasing. Didn't think he'd get all weird. Aaron stepped into the room. No words, just presence. Noah was kneeling on the floor, a wet rag in his hands, soap suds glistening under the dim nightlight. His pajamas were stained, hair unbrushed, eyes downcast. Aaron bent down and touched the boy's hand. The skin was raw, not bleeding, but worn, as if from scrubbing. Again and again, too hard, too long. Kyle stood frozen behind him. Elena appeared at the door moments later, eyes wide but voice smooth. "What's going on?" she said with a light laugh. "Kyle must have come in to help him. You know how Noah always spills. He gets messy." Aaron didn't respond. He slowly peeled the rag from Noah's fingers. The boy didn't resist. He didn't even blink, just stared into space. "You okay, buddy?" Aaron asked, hoarse. Noah gave a small nod, one that wasn't from understanding. It was a mechanical nod, like it had been rehearsed. Aaron's fists clenched in his lap. Then he stood, looked at Elena, looked at Kyle. "Get out," he said. Elena raised a brow, arms folded. "You don't need to overreact. Kyle didn't hurt him. Maybe Noah's just imagining things. Remember what the therapist said? He tends to create." "Out," Aaron repeated. Kyle shrugged, muttering something under his breath. "Kids are soft these days." They left. Aaron closed the door behind them. He didn't sit too close to Noah. He gave space, sat across from him at an angle so the boy wouldn't feel trapped. The room was dim and small, painted a dull blue. The walls were bare. No drawings, no posters, no glow-in-the-dark stars. Only a single old teddy bear lying limp at the foot of the bed. Aaron picked it up. There was a tear across its belly seam. He gently opened the fabric. Inside, 3 small folded pieces of paper. The first was a crayon drawing of a house. 3 figures, a man, a child, and a woman with no face. The second note, written in shaky pencil, just said, "Don't tell." Aaron stared at it, didn't move, didn't breathe. He slipped the papers quietly into his pocket. When he turned back, Noah was still in the same spot. Aaron leaned forward slightly and whispered, still silent. "If there's anywhere you want to go, just tell me." Noah looked up, slowly. His eyes were dull. But then, just barely, he shifted. Just a few inches. A silent message. Not trust. Not yet. But maybe hope. Aaron didn't sleep again that night. He didn't need to. Something deeper than adrenaline had taken over. A quiet, controlled rage that lived in the bones, not the blood. By 6:15 a.m., the house was silent. Elena had left early for her weekly yoga session. Kyle was still snoring in his room, the bass of some video echoing faintly from under the door. Aaron moved like a shadow. He slipped into Noah's room carrying a small toolkit. He wasn't here to fix anything. He was here to listen. At the base of the nightstand, he installed a hidden charging plug, one that wasn't just a power source, but a listening device, disguised perfectly inside the casing. Then came the teddy bear, the same bear Noah had carried every night since he was 3. The seam across the belly had already torn. Aaron hadn't stitched it back for a reason. Inside, he slid a button-sized mic, audio-sensitive, powered by body heat. It would activate the moment Noah hugged it. Last, a tiny chip went into the bear's stuffing, a backup recorder. No Wi-Fi needed, no detection possible. By 6:28 a.m., he was done. Noah was still asleep, the bear back in his arms. Aaron backed out of the room as silently as he'd entered. At 2 a.m. that night, Aaron sat alone in the truck parked a block from the house, watching the downloaded feed from the first evening's data. He plugged in headphones, pressed play. The first sound, footsteps, then a drawer opening. Elena's voice came next, sharp, precise, ice cold. "How many times, Noah, huh? Can't even hold a cup without spilling like a moron?" Smack. Something hit. Hard. A thud. Not a slap, a sharp wooden impact. Noah didn't scream, but his breathing changed. Shaky. Tight. Elena again. "Look at me when I'm talking to you." Then silence. Then Kyle's voice entered, too close to the mic. "Remember what I told you? Tell anyone, and the monster under the bed eats your feet while you sleep." Aaron yanked off the headphones. His hands were shaking, but his jaw was locked still. He opened the monitoring app, checked the timestamps. The bear had recorded everything. Every word, every breath, even the silence in between. He hit speed dial. Marcus. A voice answered on the third ring, calm, alert. Keller? Aaron didn't waste a second. I have audio, emotional abuse, possible physical. I need help. Tonight. There was a pause. Then Marcus's voice dropped low. Send me the files. I'll prep a burner. But you know how this works, Aaron. This isn't enough to convict. They'll say you're overreacting. Just teasing. Step-parent discipline. We need more. Aaron stared ahead into— So what now? Now, Marcus said, you smile. You play along. You act like everything's normal. Aaron's eyes didn't blink. And you keep recording. The next evening, Aaron sat at the dinner table like nothing had changed. He smiled when Elena joked about a yoga instructor with too tight pants. He nodded when Kyle mocked the math teacher at school. He helped clear the plates. And all the while, his phone, placed perfectly upright against a water glass, recorded every word, every tone, every silence. Noah sat beside him, chewing quietly on a piece of toast. No questions, no whining, just silence. But his small hand rested on Aaron's sleeve, not grabbing, not pulling, just resting. A message. I'm still here. That night, Aaron tucked Noah into bed and kissed his forehead. He walked into the hallway, shut the door, and turned off the light. But he didn't go to sleep. He sat in the hallway, back against the wall, laptop on his knees, headphones in. He played the latest recording. 1:27 a.m. Kyle's voice, low and slurred from whatever garbage he'd been watching. You think your dad's going to save you? You think crying helps? Cry louder next time, see if I care. Noah's reply, a whisper. Please stop. Don't tell me what to do, Kyle spat. You're not even my real brother. A beat of silence. Then a loud crash. Something, glass, shattering. No scream, but Noah's breathing turned fast, shallow. Then, Elena's voice, not from anger, from control. Clean that up. If you wake Susan, you'll regret it. Aaron hit stop. His chest felt like concrete. This was the line. By morning, he had everything ready. He packed a bag with Noah's essentials. He wrote a single note for Elena. Do not come near him again, or me. He drove Noah to Grandma Charlotte's house, their elderly neighbor who had seen more than she admitted. She opened the door and looked into Aaron's face. She didn't ask questions. She just stepped aside. Noah walked in quietly, but paused at the doorway. Daddy? Aaron knelt, held his son's shoulders gently. I'm coming back for you, I promise. But right now, I need you safe. Noah nodded. Will the bear stay with me? Aaron smiled faintly. Always. That night, Marcus arrived. Not in uniform, but with a flash drive full of timestamps, recordings, and logs backed onto 2 secure servers. One in state, one in D.C. They submitted it all to Child Protective Services and local law enforcement. The raid came at dawn. 3 unmarked cars, 2 officers, 1 CPS investigator, and Marcus, standing behind them all with arms crossed, silent. When Kyle answered the door, he barely blinked before trying to run. He didn't make it to the fence. Elena screamed, called it a mistake, called it a lie. Susan stepped into the hallway and saw Marcus's badge. She turned back into her room without a word. Inside, Aaron didn't speak. He only stood on the porch, waiting. The court ruled in Noah's favor. Elena was sentenced to 3 years for child endangerment and emotional abuse. Kyle, a juvenile sentence with mandatory therapy and supervised rehabilitation. Susan, permanent no-contact order with Noah, and public exposure for failure to report. 3 months later, Noah sat in a soft beige therapy room with Dr. Lorraine, a child psychologist whose voice felt like cotton and whose office smelled like cinnamon. Aaron sat in the corner. Lorraine handed Noah a blank page and a box of crayons. He picked up brown, then green, then orange, and slowly a drawing appeared. A house, a tree, 2 figures. One tall, one small. The tall one had a coat. The small one held a teddy bear. At the top, written in messy letters, was one word: safe. That night, after a book and a blanket, Noah turned to his father. "You're not going anywhere, right?" Aaron leaned closer. "Not now. Not ever." Noah pulled the covers to his chin. For the first time, without being asked, he smiled.